Thank you. Carlette, that was beautiful. Everybody call Carlette. So, my name is Brett. I'm the Director of Street Medicine at the University of Southern California and Vice Chair of the International Street Medicine Institute. I've been practicing street medicine for almost 20 years and would like to begin by giving thanks for the joy of loving. The decrease in the point in time count is simply a fruit of this love. And everybody in the room has expressed that the best way they know how in the past year. Whether you're the mayor of Los Angeles, the brothers and sisters serving alongside me on the street, or I even think about our neighbors loving their neighbors experiencing homelessness. I'm reminded of Aunt Johnny in South LA, who every night would open her small white picket fence and say, "Yes, in my backyard," inviting her neighbors in for a safe place to sleep. Or I think about Miguel, who takes care of Benny right outside of his auto body shop, making sure that he has the food and the water that he needs to survive. In street medicine, we express this love by going to the people on the streets, under the bridges, and the riverbeds to deliver the same care on the street that you'd expect in a brick and mortar clinic. And what we've learned over the years is that to really have a hope of solving this homeless crisis, we have to address all the forms of poverty that afflict them. Of course, there's one of the material poverty, for a want of a home or a door that locks. For want of food, and we know in Los Angeles about 30% of people eat 4 or less meals a week. And so, is there a, okay. And so 2 weeks ago when, the slides, yeah. When Rosa came out of her encampment and told me that she didn't feel safe, next slide, that she didn't feel safe in her encampment, which is not surprising. Over 90% of females experience sexual assault. And that she was inspired by our community health worker, Luna, to go back to school to become a community health worker, but with no shower to get ready for class, no internet for which to take those classes. That dream was an impossibility. So we called the mayor's team. Within 2 hours, they identified a room for her. Within 2 days, she moved into that room. And so now, inside safely with a door that locks, a shower to get ready for class, internet to take those classes, we'll be helping her enroll for the fall semester. Next slide. In addition to the material poverty is the poverty of health. The physical comorbidities, psychiatric disease, and substance use disorders, if not treated now while they're still on the street, will prevent them from ever walking over the threshold into housing or being able to keep that housing. Next slide. I don't know how well you can see this, but one before that. I'm reminded of Rudy, who lived over this bridge. Every day had to traverse this bridge back and forth just to find food. But at 78 years old, with end-stage heart disease, end-stage kidney disease, and unsteadiness on his feet, we were so worried he would fall into this ravine. So this is Joseph, our community health worker, wrapping reflective tape in order to light his way. But when Rudy developed cancer, requiring daily chemotherapy and radiation treatments, we couldn't do it from this encampment. So we called our friends at LAHSA, who got him inside where he could be safe to get the treatments and get transportation to and from every day. But as terrible as those poverties are, the worst poverty that we see is the spiritual poverty, of feeling unwanted or unloved. A poverty only deepened when a neighbor calls to have another neighbor's encampment move, pushing them around the city that they feel is their home, but no place to put their physical body. Where do I put this if it can't be anywhere? And the only way we know of to solve this poverty is through love. And it was a lesson taught to us right outside, 2 slides, of City Hall East by David. When I first met David, I was walking by and there was all this trash there at the time, and I thought David was a pile of trash. I walked by and the trash just rustled. I was like, what is happening? And I looked down and David pops up and he starts going over, yelling and mumbling, and we just looked at him until finally he came over to this tree in the foreground, and I thought, now's our opportunity to talk to him because he's in one spot. So I went over, and it took me about 20 minutes to get this out, but you'll know no matter how much somebody is experiencing psychosis, not every thought they have is psychotic. So it took me time to understand what he was saying. And he told me that he was very itchy, that he was worried about his head being very itchy, and he was scratching it hard, and he wanted me to take a picture because he thought it was bleeding. So I took a picture. I showed him that, yes, it was bleeding. I told him that he had scabies all over, but that normally we would give him a shampoo. He can't have that because he's living here, but we could give him ivermectin, which did exist before COVID. And so I went to the truck. I brought him the ivermectin and gave him water. He swallowed it and then went back to doing his thing, yelling and mumbling, yelling and mumbling. So I thought, well, I guess it's in his belly. I'll start walking away. So I started walking away, and he grabbed me and told me to stay right here, walked to the back, and started looking around at the flower beds, taking rocks, looking at them, throwing them, and then he pulled out this rock and started looking at it up and down. It was the perfect rock. And he came over, grabbed my hand, pulled it out, slapped it on my hand, closed it, and then went back to doing his thing. And so now this rock is my prized possession, not because it has any inherent value in itself, but I wouldn't sell it to any of you, but because I think what David saw was that we were trying to tell him through our medical care how much we loved him, and he wanted to reciprocate it with this rock. And that's what I've seen from all of you on the street, is that there's many different vehicles for which to deliver that love, but the same precious cargo. So as you leave here today, you go back out, you go back serving. Think about how, whether you're part of the press, the mayor, folks with LAHSA, how you can use your vehicle to deliver that same cargo of love.